All right, guys, good morning. No more AMD doom and gloom. Let's talk about this for a minute. So let's be a little bit more realistic. AMD probably just wants you 6000 RDNA 2 6000 series guys to upgrade to RDNA 4. Why wouldn't they? As somebody that's actually used RDNA 2 and have the consoles, PS4 or PS5 and Xbox Series X, look, we already know the RDNA 2 is very good. Really, really good hardware. If you have a card from the RDNA 2 generation, you pretty much don't really have a reason to upgrade. Like, you have solid hardware. You've gotten good support for that. You've seen multiple features actually come to your GPU. I think AMD's done a pretty damn good job at supporting their products. Cutting off support for RDNA 2 is as early as this. I mean, yes, they could clearly still support it. They could still bring FSR 4 to RDNA 2. But let's be real. Let's be realistic. It would probably run better on 7000 series and, you know, the new RDNA 4 GPUs. So you would technically be able to use the feature on RDNA 2, but you're going to get, you know, a better experience on RDNA 3 and RDNA 4. So, look, cutting off support for RDNA 2, the only thing that really comes to mind, the only thing that really makes sense to me is that would be the reason. They just like, look, guys, we know we can make it work, and the internet's probably going to force them to do that. And that's fine. Like, handle that, you know, like I'm there with you in a sense that, like, yeah, I don't think AMD should be dropping support for 6000 series cards. In my mindset, it's more because optics matter, and them dropping the support kind of makes it look like they're unwilling to support their, but we all know that's not true. We all know that's not true. We know that AMD likes to support things, and they've been really, really good. Really good. When NVIDIA was dropping features and not bringing them to older cards, AMD has been there doing that the whole time. So when you get to a point like this, it really just kind of feels like AMD wants people to upgrade. There's plenty of stock out there for RDNA 4 cards, and they're priced pretty reasonable right now. Like, you can get pretty decent deals on these cards, only slightly above MSRP. Like, you can, I think that my card right now, the Merc Magnetic Air, which is probably, in my opinion, the absolute best, aside from maybe the Sapphire or like a couple of other cards that actually have like the 3/8 pin power supply. They boost up to 340 watts or whatever like that, and get you a little bit. I mean, they boost pretty well. They boost pretty well. I'm actually, I find myself quite surprised most of the time with the performance level of RDNA 4 with the 9070 XT, even the 9060 XT. These are both very good. Man, I'm not even joking. Like, I really do find myself surprised a lot of the time when I'm playing the 9070 XT at 4K, and then Junior, you know, with the 9060 XT. Very, very good, solid, all-around GPUs. They literally get the job done. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, there's an affordable option right now with RDNA 4, and there's plenty of stock. They're coming down to pretty close to MSRP, and even the 9060 XT is a potent enough card to be able to do a lot with. You can do a lot with that, and even if you're coming from, you know, like a 6950 XT, okay, the best of the RDNA 2 generation. If you're coming from that GPU and you're going to either 9070 XT, which is going to give you significantly, I want to say a pretty damn good upgrade over that, versus, you know, like a 9060 XT, maybe taking a little bit of a hit, you know, in terms of like overall performance and all of that stuff. If you go from, because 6800 XT is slightly better than 9060 XT. But, you know, if you're using like the features and stuff, you'd be like, whoa, man, the FSR4 is looking way better. And you actually get, you know, like a decent performance increase out of using that on RDNA 4. So if you're sitting there and you're using that, all I'm saying is there's definitely a spot in RDNA 4 that would probably help you be okay with moving forward. I know that a lot of you PC guys like to hang on to your old equipment for a long time, and yeah, that used to make sense. I mean, games up to like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation, they were pretty much designed around rasterization. As we start getting more into the AI generation of PC gaming, the needs to run these games are going to start getting more dependent on your AI tops. So RDNA 2 is kind of at a tricky situation. Like, yeah, it can do some of that entry level wise. And to be fair, you know, you've got NVIDIA with like the 20 series and 30 series, that those cards definitely have more AI tops than what RDNA 2 does. So those GPUs might actually get supported longer than RDNA 2. It is just something that is, it's just, that's just reality. I wish the AMD would have been more on point when it comes to when it came to like the AI feature set and stuff for RDNA 2, but look, man, they just weren't there. And it's fine. They're getting there. These newer cards are a lot faster. They're a lot better. I assure you that if you switch from RDNA 2 to RDNA 4, you will be blown away. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I don't think that RDNA 2 is horrible by any means. And the slow rollout of AI powered games has still made that card like a very viable option. And if you're sitting there on your 6950 XT or your 6900 XT or 6800 XT, you're looking at me like, dude, you're crazy. I don't even need to upgrade right now. These cards are incredible at 1440p, playing 4K games and stuff, because there's plenty of games that you could still play at 4K with those. And I know that because there's plenty of games that I can play at 4K on a 9060 XT, and it does incredible at 1440p, and it's an absolute monster at 1080p. So I know, like, I understand, like I understand the thinking of what you're feeling right now. You're feeling like, no, dude, this card is still very good, and that's true. I mean, like you would think that, like, hey man, I don't need to buy a GPU every 2 generations, and I get that. Like, I understand that way of thinking, but when you look at what's really going on, that's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense of why AMD would even consider dropping support for the 6000 series cards, is because they want you to upgrade to RDNA 4. And there's really not a whole lot of ways that AMD can just be like, hey guys, come and upgrade now. Yeah, that's like, I don't know. PC gamers are pretty stubborn, so getting them to upgrade when they technically don't need an upgrade is always going to be the challenge in PC gaming for a lot of people, because a lot of people get tired of the FOMO stuff pretty quickly. I mean, I know I do, but I just, as a content creator, I'm going to upgrade every generation just to remain relevant. But I haven't needed an upgrade for a very long time, man. 7800 XT was absolutely perfect for me and my gaming needs. And now here I am with even stronger stuff. And I'm just like looking at it and I'm like, gosh dang, dude, some of this is just wild. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. For everybody out there that just wants to be mad at AMD, that doesn't use AMD, that pretends to be upset that AMD is doing this, you know, it's like, I mean, dude, if you use NVIDIA as your daily driver, like, this shouldn't even matter to you. This is not your problem. This is people like me and ancient gameplays that actually use AMD as our daily drivers, you know, I am frustrated about it. I'm not gonna lie, like I am frustrated about this. It does seem like, gosh damn, AMD, why shoot yourself in the foot? And being an AMD fan, you have to address it. You have to look at it. You have to kind of, you know, figure it out and understand what the heck is going on. And you look at it and you're like, gosh damn, you know, you look back at the legacy of the RDNA 2 GPUs, and those are damn good cards. They were strong and competitive against the cards that they launched against when it comes to the 30 series from NVIDIA. They had more VRAM. They definitely were a very intriguing proposition towards the NVIDIA cards that were coming out with like 10 gigabytes and stuff like that, 12 gigabytes for damn near $2,000 GPUs. And you look at that, you know, like a 3080 Ti or something, and you know, the 3090 being like a $1,500 GPU. I mean, like that was wild. And you know, the whole crypto mining and stuff like that during that generation. You're always going to have that problem with NVIDIA. There's always going to be some new source of wanting that compute, so you're always going to have to compete against that, and the prices are going to continue to go up, especially without AMD there in the mix, you know, to offer that solution for gamers. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I feel like AMD's GPUs are designed more for actual gaming. And that might change with RDNA 5. They might become more of what NVIDIA is and try to tackle everything at once. And that's going to definitely increase the overall price and stuff of what we're getting from them. But when I think about AMD doing this to RDNA 2, like it doesn't really give me a whole lot of fear of what they're going to do in the future. Like it's like a one-time deal transition through technology where RDNA 2 just didn't have what it takes to really push that envelope forward. Yeah, they can squeeze a little bit more out of it. They could probably do a makeshift FSR4 for it and get it at least usable. But in terms of actually delivering on the feature set of what FSR4 is going to be after Redstone launches later this year, I think honestly, if you're an AMD fan and you got a 6000 series card, ask yourself what it is. Do you want to try to hang on to that, or do you want, because I get it, dude. RDNA 2 is a very, very interesting platform. It is. People that bought it loved it. When you got it, you got a good deal. You got an amazing experience out of it, and you have since. You could get these cards as early as like a few, just recently, and now it seems like the tides are kind of shifting a little bit. And all I can say is, going forward, I don't see this being a massive problem in the future. I do see that, you know, maybe the 7000 series GPUs, even those might get to a point where like, yeah, you're going to start to see you know, the technologies like FSR4 and stuff, you know, take away from the overall experience. But I think it'll still be at least capable. But once you start getting, you know, into RDNA 4, like it's different. So my advice is upgrade now and get the best one you can afford, honestly. Whether you stick with AMD or you just decide, look, that was enough for me, I'm going to go over and get an AMD or an NVIDIA card. In my testing, 9070 XT, 5070 Ti, absolutely, you could go either way and be fine. The same goes for 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte and 9060 XT 16 gigabyte. In my testing, there's really not a massive difference between those 4 GPUs. And then obviously, if you want more power, there's the RTX 5090, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend a 5080 unless you get that right at MSRP at $1,000. Then I would say, okay. But yeah, that's pretty much your choice if you're an RDNA 2 guy. You still got an incredible GPU. It should last you still a few more years, at least to the end. RDNA 2 should last you till the end of this console generation, slightly into next, depending on what the next consoles really do come out as. But I think you're set for at least that. 8-year GPUs for RDNA 2, no problem. They should easily be able to continue to maintain at least playability, decent playability throughout the rest of this generation. And then you will get to whatever next generation games are going to probably focus a lot more heavily on the AI aspect of things. So I could see them start to falter a little bit. Not all games are probably going to go in the whole AI thing. You're still going to have indies. You're still going to have AA. You're still going to have, those games that are still going to be made. So you'll still have something to play, but it will start to narrow a little bit in terms of overall support for that. But I don't think you're in too great of a dire need to go upgrade, but as I said, this does kind of feel more like AMD wants you to upgrade to at least at least RDNA 4 as soon as possible. I think that you would appreciate it. As an AMD fan, as somebody that's used RDNA 2, RDNA 3, and RDNA 4 now, I do think you would absolutely appreciate it a lot more, and you would be happy. Coming from a 7000 series card to RDNA 4 is still a pretty decent jump, a pretty decent boost, but I think slight parities coming for that pretty soon. But RDNA 2, man, yeah. I commend you people for buying it. I wish I would have bought RDNA 2 as my first GPU, to be completely honest with you, and I still feel that way today. I wish that instead of buying a 3080, I would have bought a 6800 XT. I do. I absolutely feel like I should have bought that card. I would have been happier. So guys, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.